Tarp camping.
Ingenious, aren't you, Nath?
Maybe is.
No, you're not.
Why do people tarp camp?
Well, this is stunning. This has been a beauty little spot.
Is it safe? Is it comfortable? Is it cold?
Look, I just tipped water into my cup. It's like slush puppy in there.
Is it easy to put up?
No, it just keeps falling down.
What are the benefits?
This is a record weight in here today, 9.4 kilograms.
What are the negatives?
Our roll mats like a pontoon, floating in the lake.
Are you likely to get invaded by creatures?
Just seeing a stag beetle packing a worm, which was nice.
Is tarp camping for you?
I really enjoy it. I don't know why you don't like it.
Buongiorno YouTube, I'm Trev from Summit or Nothing, and in this video I'm going to explore my own journey and experiences of tarp camping by looking back over the previous years of Summit or Nothing and hopefully answering some of these questions and more. I love tarp camping these days. In the past year or two I have had some really great nights out under the tarp shelter. However, there was a time when I would never even have considered tarp camping. In fact, when I first began Summit or Nothing, I didn't even think that I would ever camp on the moor, let alone just under a tarp.
And this is what I was saying about what I hate about camping. Well, I've never really been interested in it. It's trying to fit everything back in your bag in the morning. when it's pissing down the rain.
As Nath and myself ventured over the moor in those early days, the pull towards camping on this vast landscape grew too powerful for even myself to resist.
So, home for the night, set up. We're doing it then, we actually...
Yeah, camping on Dartmoor. I'm really excited about it, mate, yeah.
Have you seen Brokeback Mountain?
No.
Good.
For Nathan, however, carrying the weight of a tent on a lengthy trek across the moor seemed like a futile exercise when he could just as easily lose the weight of the poles, the ground sheets and fly sheets and sleep under a single sheet of canvas, the tarp.
Tarping it, ain't you now?
The idea is, when I set out to do this, is that I can do it all, be self-sufficient in the field, like, you know.
Yeah. Because we'll probably be called up soon as well.
So that's where I'm sleeping tonight.
In the woods. Oh, look! Did you build that? Yeah. Well done, Nath. Here he goes, in the shelter.
His first tarp shelter was a 2x3 metre tarpaulin. I didn't envy him at all, as I hunkered down myself in the relative luxury of a tent.
Well, that was a cold night. I wonder how our big boy got on out there. It was a hell of a cold. My nose is now bunged right up. Oh no. Is it not a good night out there? It was alright. Yeah? Yeah. Was you warm? Yeah, I've not been cold at any point. Oh, look, that's what Nath was whittling his sticks for last night. Putting his boots upside down so water didn't get in them. Ingenious, aren't you, Nath? Ray Mears. No, you're not. All I'm going to say, Ray Mears taught me everything I know.
So what I did last time is I fed this main string through these.
Yeah.
But this time I've not done that. So that I get a downward slope at the ends as well.
It was only a few times after being out in that setup that he began to feel the flaws with that particular pitch, and so began to wonder whether there was a better option out there.
So here we are with tarp setup number 1. It's quite fiddly to set up. I used a lot of paracord for the top rope, which took time to untie, untangle, and then sort of staking out the poles. They're not that stable. It's not the strongest setup. When I've slept under it in the past, unless it was direct rainfall from above, it didn't really offer a huge amount of protection.
And it was then that he found the game changer, the DD Hammocks Superlight tarp.
So here we are in the 3x3. As you can see from the setup video, it's a lot less complicated to set up. It's easier to set up in a wind because you stake the whole sheet out flat on the ground and then you work inside to erect the poles to build it up. It already has tension from the way the sheet's already staked out. This is my first time using the DD Hammock ultralight 3x3 tarp. It's not ideal conditions for pegging it out. As you can see, not managed to achieve an ideal shape on it. The way this ground is here, having it pegged down tight over that should help stop any wind getting in. And it, you know, it should disperse rain well enough. One of the pluses is that the doorway is actually quite low, so hopefully that'll keep wind and rain out. But as you can see, it's far more stable than the original setup. It doesn't wobble around as much. The sheet comes right the way down to the ground on 3 sides, which gives you excellent weather and wind protection. I had a quick look around the tarp. All of the pegs are still in, all of the guy ropes are still down. Everything seems to be holding up pretty well. They give the wind sort of ease in from here until 1 o'clock when it sort of drops right off. My light's attached to the tent pole, so when the light's moving, that's the wind shaking the whole tarp here. There's more headroom. I can comfortably sit up in here. I could put my roll mat down as a seating pad, sit on that and cook comfortably in the dry.
It was during a camp in some woodland at Dartmoor that I first laid eyes on Nath's new DD hammock shelter, and suddenly I wasn't so dismissive of tarp camping anymore.
How's fun, laying you?
Yeah, all good, Jack.
God, you've got loads of room in there as well. Yeah, it's ideal, isn't it? Look at that.
You know, there's pros and cons with everything. You know, it weighs so much less, takes up so much less space. If it was, you know, if it was all positives, everyone would be doing it.
2 of you could use this one tarp piece of piss, couldn't you?
Yeah. Well, I'm in here, Nathan's tent, we're having coffee. No, I am very impressed with the DD Superlight tarp.
It wasn't long before I also joined Nathan in purchasing a DD Hammock Superlight tarp of my own, and so the adventures really began in earnest.
We're going to do like a figure 8 walk around here, taking a few tours. We're aiming to get back to gut a tour, do a camp, and tarping it. Tarping it. I've got a tarp. So we're having a 2 tarp wild camp today. Times are a-changing. Well, I've got mine set up a bit. This crease down the middle of it, I like that. That's my idea, that was. It's like a gutter. Here we are, my tarp. I'll sleep somewhere like this. Well, here we are in the tent. Tarp, it's a tarp. It's new for me, this. But then this time last year, so was camping on Dartmoor. The year before that, so was hiking. Bit strange having the door wide open. Already had a moth in here.
Try not to think about any creepy crawlies that are on the ground can just climb up over you when you're asleep.
No, I won't think about that. Morning. It's about 4:30. The sun's just about to rise. And it looks awesome. So I'm going to go and have a look around outside.
Is it easy to put up a tarp? If you know me and the channel, you also know that I can be a bit of an idiot when it comes to putting up tents. The tarp shelter, I am glad to report, is absolutely no different.
Yeah, do one side at a time. Then come in, hold that one, come in.
Like that?
Yeah.
Does it go on there?
Make sure it really is on that, yeah.
No, it's come apart.
Because you overextended it.
No, it just keeps falling down. It's like it's not tall enough.
Pass me a pole.
Now, just the top, yeah. Oh, everyone else's hiking poles in the world will work, but not Trev's. Have you got your second hiking pole now?
Yeah.
Right, it's not that one, it's the next one back, it's a very real one.
Oh, is it? Oh, the very back one, is it? Something like that.
Still to this day, it seems to be a 50-50 chance of whether I will get it right the first time.
That was easy.
Yet, for most of you, I'm sure you will be able to get to grips with it fairly easily. There are also numerous ways of putting up a tarp shelter, so you can play around with the many methods to find the one that suits you. I tend to go for the same method, which is basically tent shape with an open front, which gives good shelter, plenty of space within, yet still allows me to remain open to the elements.
See though, there's plenty of room in there. It's done alright.
What are the benefits of tarp camping? As you could probably assume, without having to take a tent, and poles, and especially with an incredibly small size and weight of the Superlight tarp, the main benefit of tarp camping is the reduction in both weight and space in your backpack.
I've got my trespass backpack on again, 30 litre. This is a record weight in here today, 9.4 kilograms. It's the lightest I've ever had it. It is only for one night, so just got the essentials. I bought water, I couldn't be bothered to go source water, so it'll be lighter again in the morning.
A smaller and lighter pack when hiking means more comfort. You are less likely to cause yourself any injuries.
That's the money shot right there, isn't it?
We're both feeling a bit battered from the day. Trev's pack has been awkward on his back. My left shoulder's giving me grief. I've got sort of rubbing going on my hips.
Further benefits are that tarp camping is by far more an adventurous experience, bringing you another step closer to nature and giving you a great sense of accomplishment. Being open to the elements is a freer and less claustrophobic experience to tent camping. Remember those nights confined within your tent when you hear noises outside but you're either too comfy or too nervous to investigate?
It's really no more mesh than... Hey! Someone eating my poles. What are you doing? Don't eat my poles. No, no, no.
Well, the tarp setup means that you only have to lift your head to look out.
Yep, in the tarp. It's nice. Open front, obviously, so I can look out. Got my tea station set up, ready for the morning.
Well, this is stunning. I tell you what, this has been a beauty little spot. Look at that. It's 4:45 in the morning. I've been sleeping here with my head up this end, looking out all night, looking up. It's amazing stars.
Tarps are extremely versatile. You can put some kind of shelter over the smallest of gaps, so they make finding a pitch a lot easier too.
Have a bit of a tent over me in a little dip. Is that a good idea or not? It looks cosy.
The tarp also has a lot larger floor space.
There's a big area in there, it's good space. Ideal, isn't it? A gorgeous little setup. Right, for tonight I'm quite excited. I'm out in the tarp. I found this really good little dip. It's sort of given me loads of room. I can't believe how much room it's in here.
They are also an important part of hammock camping, creating the perfect shelter for your floating bed. However, this is something that I have hardly done enough of.
I don't know, it's not bad for a first effort, is it? The tarp's actually horrendous.
So for all the rain ears in, look at the state of the tarp. See those sags? That ain't going to be no good. That's just going to hold water, so we've got to try and do something more about that. What's becoming apparent is the fact that I think there'll be methods that are definitely better than others, but I think it's definitely going to depend on the situation that you're in as to how you set your hammock and tarp up. How's that looking? Bit better? Look how taut that tarp is.
So it's not looking too bad. I've got a nice little canopy. Possibly not too much coverage at the back. If I was camping, this feels quite an exposed sort of area, so I'd probably have a rethink. Maybe have more hanging down the back than I have at the front.
And finally, tarps have the option of being kept much lower to the ground, which reduces the chance of being seen for anyone who's into stealth camping, but also makes them very sturdy during high winds. The ground sheet is optional yet not essential. I've never taken one with me when I've camped in the past, but many people will recommend that you do. A decent sleeping pad and breathable bivvy bag will make all the difference and will compensate for the lack of a ground sheet.
So this is my Rab Survival Zone Light. I'm hoping it's going to be enough to keep me warm and dry in there with my sleeping bag. So I'm just going to get my sleeping bag out and into my tarp.
I used to carry cheaper sleeping pads, which I usually had to double up in an attempt to reach a reasonable level of comfort and increase the R value beneath me, but these were often the cause of more discomfort and frustration throughout the night.
This, doing my head in, I keep edging up off the mat. and the mat up in pole. Anyway, try and sleep again. Alright.
Once I finally took the plunge and forked out for the Thermarest Neo Air sleeping pad, I no longer needed to double up, and tarp camping became far more comfortable and pleasurable in one hit. I have used this setup now for a couple of years, and I gave an extreme cold winter test at the beginning of this year, a night that I've thoroughly enjoyed. Starting to frost inside the tent. Look at that. Cold. Proper cold. Just at that edge. Doesn't seem to be anywhere else yet. It's condensation, but that's definitely frost. Frost everywhere. Look at the tent. Look how frosty it is. Look, I just tipped water into my cup to tip into the thing, and look, it froze straight in my cup. That's how cold it is. It's like slush puppy in there. Look, it's icing up in here already. That's crazy cold. Oh, it's toasty in here. Freezing on the face. Wow. But I did sleep. I was warm. Yeah, good setup. However, there are some setups where the tarp can be set up in such a way that a single sheet acts as both the shelter and the ground sheet. What are the negatives of tarp camping? A tarp shelter, as I mentioned previously, can be a little bit harder to put up than a tent. This may mean that if you arrive late and have to face the prospect of pitching up in the dark, you may face a demanding challenge. The weather is more likely to hinder your night's sleep in a tarp than it is with a tent.
Well, that was a horrendous night's sleep. There was nothing pleasurable about sleeping in here last night. It was so f***ing noisy.
midnight, and it's not strong winds, but it's just constantly flapping, and it's like against me all the time. It's just nodding off, and then like there's a real like rattle right in my head or presses against me. So I think I'm going to swap sides soon, and hopefully it won't be blowing against me so much.
The winds don't just rattle the side of your tarp, they might blow the weather straight into your tarp.
Right, what just happened then is this little pole at the back here just landed on my head, went over. So I've tightened it up now, but what's happened now is that it's lifted up. What am I looking at? I don't even know where I am. There. There's quite a gap underneath now. The wind is whipping in under and through the tarp. I'm not enjoying myself tonight. Oh, I thought this was a great idea to bring the tarp. That front one's off the mark, look. The seam. Oh, every time I get comfy in bed, I'm up readjusting it again. I'm beginning to understand why Nath doesn't enjoy camping.
And also, without a bathtub bottom that many tents provide, rain in the night can sometimes cause an issue if you haven't chosen the right spot to pitch in.
So, basically, my roll mat's like a pontoon, floating in a lake, just a puddle. My feet are wet, soaked from a bivvy bag. It's only 1 o'clock in the morning. I haven't had that much sleep. Quite happily go home now. Pretty much off with the whole adventure. But can't go home because it's pitch black out there. And got like another 4 hours, 4.5 hours at least until some sort of light. Just check the weather, they don't really give the rain letting up through the night at all, so it's only going to get worse. So this little puddle probably going to become a big puddle. This is why you don't go camping when they put these extreme weather warnings out. This is why it doesn't matter if you're running out of videos for your YouTube channel or not. You just fucking suck it up and you wait until there's better weather more appropriate for camping. So this is shit, basically, in a nutshell.
With tarps being open to the elements, it can also mean that you may be visited in the night by all creatures, great and small.
That's the nicest I've noticed. There's a slug 2 inches away from my head. Big slimy old thing. Spewing all over the grass around him. I like slugs. One of the minus points of tarp camping. One of the negatives. Having no ground sheet, and there's literally animal shit all over the place up here.
So, tent or tarp? The choice is yours. Whether you like the sound of tarp camping or prefer the comforts and containment of the enclosed space of a tent, I still highly recommend that you give it a try if you haven't already. A tarp is usually cheaper than a tent, and as I said, the DD Hammocks Superlight tarp is incredibly light and takes up no space in your bag, no more than a pack-a-mac. There's something awesome about sleeping under a tarp that tent camping just cannot match. But that being said, some conditions are better for tent camping than tarp camping, and it's great to be able to have that choice. So that about concludes this special compilation video. If you have anything that you would like to add about the joys or the folly of tarp camping, then please feel free to drop a comment below. And be sure to check out more from Summit or Nothing back catalogue. There's a few great playlists to get you started. Cheers!